Hi, my name is Jake Tam. I've been doing construction estimating for over 20 years. I've led and won construction estimates valued at over $1 billion. Today, have my own estimating consulting firm, and I help contractors accurately bid work and win more work. And for today, I do want to kind of go through how I became an estimator, kind of go through the the differences between the career paths from estimating versus project management. I think I tried kind of worked in both. I've managed projects in the millions of dollars in the past few years here, and yeah, just give you the pros and cons in terms of what's good in estimating, what's good for project management. So I want to go through a few different things regarding the differences for being an estimator or a project manager. The career path for both are quite different, but let's go through the money side as the first topic, since probably a lot of you guys work for money anyways. So the career path for estimator, we typically start the same as a coordinator would, around 65 to 85. Now these I just went through ChatGPT to look at the Vancouver, BC area. Of course, your salaries would be different depending on where you're located. However, I do find that this is um, very similar to actually what I'm seeing in the field right now for salaries. In the Vancouver area, this is pretty good. This is pretty accurate. But yeah, like typically the estimator does start the same as a coordinator would, but the career path is much faster in the estimating side than it is with the coordinator side. So you would move up into the senior estimator role probably in the 3 to 5 year span. Whereas it's typically a longer process as a coordinator to become a project manager, to become that assistant project manager. Um, a lot of times you actually don't even get to that spot. You get too good at doing whatever role you're at in the project coordinating side, where the companies just don't want to promote you into project management. The moment you get to become a project manager, you're now delegating work and you're not really doing you're not actually producing work, right? Like you're now at the management of the team instead of being a team member producing work. Whereas in the estimating side, even as a senior estimator, you're still doing the estimates. So it's a easier promotion from the company standpoint in my mind. So where your career gap stops for most estimators is in the senior estimator spot. So you're kind of at that point. I see a lot of people end their career in this role, so they will do 10 plus years in that senior estimator role and be there. Also, on the other side of the project management, I think they're like this ChatGPT, of course, they're missing the senior coordinator role, which would kind of band around the 110 to 120,000 range, and I see a lot of uh, uh, people in the project coordinating side pretty much just be stuck on that position, just never get up to that project management uh, uh, step, and therefore doesn't that never touch into these the, these numbers here. So that's kind of where I'm seeing in terms of careers after the years that I've done. Uh, uh, Now the other aspect of these two career paths is just the growth, the learning capability of it. Uh, as an estimator, you're actually looking at different estimates every few weeks, few months, um, because there's a tender phase, and typically the tenders for bigger jobs could go for a few months, but typical jobs are a few weeks to a month, where you would bid on those tenders and submit, and once that's done, you jump onto the next one. So so in that sense, you're actually planning, executing. Planning how to execute a project uh, every single cycle of this tender process. So, say for a year, you might bid at 20, 30 estimates, and and in that sense, you're learning about 20, 30 different projects. Whereas in the project management side, you're kind of bound on the project itself. You get into the weeds and the nitty gritty on every single scope while you're doing the work, but you're not really um, on that high level where you're seeing the broad picture of the whole project. And on top, you're the whole time you're doing that project is just that project. You're not seeing other projects or reviewing other scopes. So you're kind of more niche, and your skill set kind of learn slower because you're now kind of locked into this specific role and this specific task. Uh, uh, so yeah, that's the I feel like you learn a lot faster as an estimator versus in that project coordinator project management role. Just due to the sheer volume of estimates that you're doing. Um, so ChatGPT also does give you a little bit more in terms of an explanation of what the paths are and give you advantages and disadvantages of each. I kind of read through these. It does somewhat make sense, but um, I'm mm, yeah, I disagree with some of them. Um, there is another aspect though that it does talk about is you are definitely doing less traveling. I myself, as an estimator, I typically just work an 8 hour day. I don't typically travel to site. Of course, you do those occasional pre-tender meetings, and there are site visits that you have to do, but it's not it's not a lot. Like you're maybe one visit per estimate, and you're not trying to be there every day type thing. Where if you're a project coordinator or project manager, you would have to. Uh, the other thing is there's no rotation or shift work, right? As an estimator, you're not out doing travel out of town work, um, doing night shift, coordinating night shift. Uh, so definitely, if you have a family, like me, if you value work life balance, the estimator role is a lot more balanced that way. You're not working the amount of hours that you would require to work as a project coordinator or project manager would. Um, I did do both. When I was younger, I did do a few rotation shifts. I went out to LNGC, did some work in Kitimat, traveled there. I did some work in the States, work on the Kentucky Wire project out in the States there, and did a few months, 6 months stint there. Yeah, like the travel's fun. Get paid for all that overtime, get paid for your meals, get LOA, a lot of money for the amount of work that you're doing, and then of course you get that extra vacation time too because your off days are more straight. So you're like for instance, I was doing 14 and 7 out in Kitimat, and then in Kentucky I was doing 21 and 21. So it I like those shifts. It is nice. So you're just traveling when you're off, and you're working hard when you're working hard. Um, but with a family, of course, that traveling is difficult. So yeah, it depends on what you value in life and so forth. The two career paths are a little bit different. Overall, I think I think a lot more people want to be a project manager. Just the prestige and it's more common. When I was growing up and going through school, when I graduated, I didn't even know about the estimating role. kind of just got myself into it from just the experience I had, and uh, and luckily for me, it made sense, and I was able to do that. I do see a bigger shift in companies growing that pre-construction team, like all this the pre-construction team being this estimating team. Uh, it does make sense logically in my mind. As a company, you do need to win work. That's your first thing. You win the work, then you execute the work, right? But if you make a mistake in the first step of this sequence where you estimated a job and the estimate is wrong, there's no amount of actual project management effort that you can do to solve that problem. So it does make sense to value the pre-construction more, and in some ways I am starting to see that in different companies. So if you're looking for a career path and you're trying to decide between estimating or project management, yeah, reach out, uh, uh, leave a comment or something. I'll definitely answer any comments that you guys write in there, and yeah, let me know if you like these videos. Uh, Please give me a like, and thank you for watching.